You're listening to the World Footy Net Podcast. Welcome to the World Footy Net Podcast. You can email us at podcast@worldfooty.net or alternatively, post your comments on the World Footy Net Facebook page.
Welcome, everybody, to the World Footy Net International Podcast. I'm your not-so-humble host, Hooligan Broom, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, my handle is Hooligan Broom. With us today is Miss Louise Kay. How are you, Louise?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. Very well. You can follow me on Twitter as well at Miss Louise Kay.
Okay.
Oh, hey, tell them about your YouTube predictions as well.
Oh yeah, it's if you just type in Louise's predictions, I believe it comes up. I'm not sure the exact name of it, but there's loads of videos of me. So yeah, just Louise Kay's predictions, and it should come up.
Yeah, we share them on the WFN site as well.
Oh, brilliant, good stuff.
Cool. We also have with us Bobby Fu. How are you doing, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. Doing well as can be, you know. Things are motoring right along for me, that's for sure. Yeah, you can follow me at septic_Gooner.
Okay.
Good to have you back, Bobby.
Yep.
Oh, cheers, man. Cheers.
And as always, our founder and humble engineer, Dre Footy. How are you doing, Dre?
Oh, I'm doing okay. And as Hooligan says, this is Dre Footy. I'm very pleased to be back on the podcast after a little bit of an absence, and with all the football here, I'm really anxious to talk about it. So if you want to get involved in the banter here at WFN, just follow us on Twitter at WFootyNet, or just go to our main website at www.worldfooty.net.
Okay. All right, guys. Let's get into it. We're a few weeks into the EPL, and other than Dre Footy, you got a bunch of Arsenal supporters on this particular podcast.
Pray for me.
Yeah, well, you know, pray that we don't all mob you. We might be on your doorstep. You might have the enemy at the gate.
Well, it's two of us, me and Robin Van Persie. Yeah.
I'm
sorry.
You mean the guy that's in the trainer's room?
Hey, he's going to play against Galatasaray today, so, hey, it's not too bad.
Yeah, for what, 5 minutes?
You know.
Just to say he hit the pitch?
He might score a goal in that 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Don't make me get stabby this early. But as far as last weekend fixtures here in the States, Bobby may have caught it. I had trouble finding a good feed for the Arsenal game, but it was against Southampton, and yes, they can be strong, but I don't know. 6-1, I think it shows Arsenal's potential. Yesterday's Champions League game, that we'll get to later, again, shows potential, but I'm not totally convinced. And just for the record, I hate Diaby. I'll dislike him less. I will never not dislike him. I'll just dislike him less. But for the one person that was able to view the game as it happened for sure, Louise, what's your take on it?
It's the sort of game that we should be winning 6-1. We should be happy about it. It's Southampton. They've just come up from the Championship, you know. So It doesn't really. Yeah, it's obviously good for us to win, and obviously the 6 goals are really good for our goal difference. But other than that, you know, like we should win games like that. We should have beat Stoke. Do you know what I mean? We should have beat Sunderland. We should be doing a lot better than what we are. So I'm happy with it. I mean, obviously it makes us all as fans, you know, more positive and stuff. But just as long as it continues. I mean, yeah, we had a good game yesterday as well, but we're very inconsistent. So I'm never that hopeful, really. I'm kind of a bit of a realist now when it comes to Arsenal.
Yeah. I think we've all gotten there. The second half of yesterday's game was giving me heart palpitations. Anyway, that said, Fu, what's your take?
The pressure we put on that team in the first half is exactly what we want as far as offensively taking it to the other club. Sure, they had 2 own goals, but let's face it, it was only we would have scored anyway. I mean, that's the thing with the way we play, is that sort of pressure, kind of like in the first half yesterday against Montpellier, is the fact that we just put pressure on that team. And as for the second half, I grew up watching that team in the 80s. For me, not to give up a goal under pressure, having already given up a penalty from a referee that obviously was a Barcelona supporter, then, I'm going to be honest, I think we did really well, and we were away from home. So, I'll take the 3 points any way I can get it.
Yeah, as a coach myself, I was overall pleased with the performance yesterday. I think we're still lacking some things in the back. I don't think we should have given those Frenchies the opportunities that we were giving them. I think we could have shut them down a little bit easier. But again, I'm not out there on the pitch in pitch conditions. I can only observe and say what I see. Please, Jeebus, let us stay healthy.
Well, one of the only ones who got injured all the time was RVP, and he's not with us anymore. So you know what I mean. That's one less to be injured, one less for us to worry about. Anyway,
Diaby.
We spent all our season. Oh, I hope he's not injured. I hope he's not injured. So we don't have that. Like, as I said, good riddance to him. I'm glad he went.
Yeah, I'm glad RVP went too. I mean, I can't say that I wanted him. I mean, I'm kind of bummed because, but maybe Trevino will step up. Who knows? Dre, you want to tell us about United?
Yeah, I want to say a little something about Arsenal, because I hear what you say. You guys have given up 1 goal in the league this year, 2 overall.
Well, it was basically an own goal.
Yeah, I mean, but that's solid. I mean, you've got to be contenders for the title. And I think that, as you said before, I know we joked about it a little bit earlier, but RVP gone, the other, this is the same thing that happened when Ronaldo left United. The other players have to step it up. They no longer can kick it to Ronaldo, and watch him play. Just like Arsenal, they realize that RVP is not going to be up top, so they got to start playing as a team, and they're doing that. And I see a solid performance so far from them in each of the games, especially Southampton. And the Champions League is the Champions League, and there are things that can surprise us. And with Montpellier, it's a tough game, and they came out on top. So I think from your standpoint, you guys are going to be in good shape for the balance of the season. And I think the key is staying healthy, because last year you started out with kind of like what United has this year, with no back line. Everybody was hurt, on the training table. And, me being with United, and I must say that I'm one of the few non-bandwagon fans in the States for Manchester United. That's where my interest is. And I actually have been pleasantly surprised with United, because after last season, and with the changes that are there, with the age of some of the players there, I'm looking at them as a transition year. And considering too that we've had, in 3 of the 5 games, we've had 1 designated defender, Ferdinand, that's been back. We had Michael Carrick as a center back in 3 of the games. And so, despite that, we're just under Chelsea in the league title race right now. I know it's very early, but I wasn't expecting us to be there. And quite frankly, when the season started, I was thinking top 4 would be a good season. Not desirable, but good. With the competition that's now out there. But what another team that I wanted to kind of just ask you guys about is Swansea. I've been surprised with their form, considering that Rodgers has left, but with Michael Laudrup coming in there, I think the pedigree that he brings to Swansea might make the difference for them. It seems to be making a difference because I thought they were going to be candidates for the drop, quite frankly, and they're up the top of near the top of the table and playing well. And
Yeah,
so I'm very surprised by that.
I think Swansea's going to fight all year. I mean, that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I think with them too, because they're a little bit thinner than some of the big clubs, the injury situation might be an issue. And they just lost Neil Taylor to a horrific ankle injury, dislocated and broken in 3 places.
Yeah,
it's kind of stuff I can't watch. But if they can stay reasonably healthy, otherwise, I think, like you say, they'll have a fighting chance to stay up.
Louise? Yeah. What's your take on Swansea?
See, I think it's with Swansea that they're just getting lucky. I was just actually having a look through like what games they've had and what games they've won, because I mean West Ham are rubbish.
Where my hammer's at?
Yeah, I've got West Ham in my family and stuff, and West Ham are the team. It's like how much they go down, everyone loves them. But they've had QPR. They lost to Aston Villa and was it Stoke, I think, as well. So I wouldn't really say that they've had a decent run of teams that are kind of substandard at the minute as well. QPR aren't good at all at the minute, and so I mean if they would be in the top 4 and they'd done Man United, Chelsea and Man City maybe, but I think it's probably a bit of beginner's luck really at the beginning of the season. But hey, who knows? Like everyone's saying, oh yeah, they're doing really well. But I think we're only a few games in, so you can't really, I don't know, you can't really judge people's performance yet. We'll wait until we're at least 6 games in or something before the table will start, and they'll be back down to 7th or 10th or something.
Who?
They're not going to stay in the top 4. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, not at all.
If you think about it, the big one last year, the massive gap between Arsenal and Spurs, and how quickly things can change. So it's just you just don't know. And like you say, it's down to injuries and things like that. But we'll see. But yeah, they won't be top 4. No way on this earth. I'd put money on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. Fu, what is your take on that?
Well, I'm going to be honest. The squad that Swansea have, and their player that they lost, their star player that they lost, Sinclair, they'll be hard-pressed to stay on form for any extended amount of time. And I'm going to be honest, they might not go down this year, but if I was Michael Laudrup, I would have stayed at Mallorca. Because I wouldn't have left Spain. Oh, I'm going to Wales? Oh, this is a great place to visit.
Lovely.
They have great weather, sunshine, just like the Spanish coast.
Yeah.
Not at all.
They do. They really do. It's tropical.
His first question to the media, Michael Laudrup's first question to the media when he walked in was, as I was driving into work today, a sheep winked at me.
But moving on, guys. Here's something that I keep. I mean, maybe you'll find it comical. Maybe you won't. Michael Owen going to Stoke. The only thought that comes into my head with that is
bizarre.
Are his own players going to hurt him? He gets injured so often. I'm just wondering if Shawcross is going to break his leg in training. I mean, that's the only thing that keeps coming to my mind. I can't see any good coming of it.
I don't think they expected him to go to Man United though either, to be honest. So, I don't know. He's past it. He's been going for a long, long time, hasn't he?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. He's more like a championship, division caliber player right now.
Yeah, he never does anything spectacular anymore. So.
Yeah, maybe he should have gone to Bolton.
No, for me, Michael Owen wouldn't even make it in the championship because they just kick him to bits. But for 15 minutes a game, a match, maybe. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he would make it in the championship at all.
Really?
He doesn't have the stamina for it anymore. And let me tell you, I watch championship football because I have that Al Jazeera network at work.
Yeah.
Man, they kick 7 shades of each other.
They do.
I mean, and I watch, and it's not like I watch, and sure, some teams play it on the floor and try and play the beautiful game, but most of it is leather lungs and hoofing the ball as hard as you can and showing up for set pieces, and that's, and sure, for some that's, football, and, sure, it's entertaining sometimes, but watching those players just run after the ball, it's like watching Liverpool, and I don't watch them over.
It's against my religion. But I would have thought he would be at home at a place like Blackburn or some place where he could come in the last 20 minutes and give him a boost, a top club in the championship. But, it is rough, and he is fragile, made of glass.
Yeah, kind of like RVP.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, we're going to go there again.
I don't know. I just really see us seeing a news report that says Shawcross breaks Owen's leg in training.
Owen pulls hamstring running from Shawcross.
Yeah, something of that nature. But anyway, moving on. What footballer does it, regardless of team, is having the biggest impact right now to y'all for their side, whether their side's winning or not, just as far as playing goes?
Hey, I'm gonna jump in.
Yeah,
Robin van Persie for United, because without him, United are down near the relegation zone. They couldn't find a way to score without him right now. I think that's going to change as the season goes on, and as you say, when he gets hurt, Rooney's coming back, and we have a good front line, but I'm more concerned about that back line. But he's a major reason why United right now are in second place. But you know who I'm going to be looking at is Dimitar Berbatov. He's had a smashing start to his time at Fulham with 2 goals against West Brom and that 3-0 win. And I think he's a good fit there. And Martin Jol, he's worked with him before at Spurs, and I think he's going to feature there where he couldn't find a game at United. There's too much competition there, but he's going to be the guy at Fulham. And I think with the certain departures that we know about there, I'm going to be keeping an eye on him and see how he does with Fulham.
Yeah, Louise, who's your guy right now?
I would probably agree with as much as I hate Van Persie, I'd agree with the Van Persie comment and the fact that he has. I caught the beginning of one of the Man United games when he scored, and it's not nice to see him score, but he is doing well, and I think he's going to do what for Man United what he did for Arsenal. He's going to be their scorer. He's going to be the one that's always getting the goals and stuff. So probably him. But the top scorer in the joint top 2 scorers in the Premier League is a Swansea player called Mitchell, I think it is, and he's scored 4, and Van Persie scored 4 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then Jermaine Defoe's up there with 3 goals as well, and Tottenham are doing awful. So.
Right.
No surprise there.
We don't like to hear about that horrible name you used.
Yeah, we might have to bleep that word out.
Yeah.
Place starts with a T.
Yeah. I mean, say spuds. Fu, who's your guy right now?
Well, I have decided not to plump for any Arsenal players because I know they will perform like they're supposed to, or at least in my mind and heart, they will perform like I want them to. Right. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go on a diatribe here and say Clint Dempsey. I think Clint Dempsey will fall flat on his face at the Tottenham, and they will yet again waste their money on a player. Though is good, and at times can be very good and very tidy. They don't have a passer of the ball at that team, and so he's going to be left alone, trying to fight his way through long balls, and Gareth Bale making monkey sounds and all that other sort of stuff, which really not conducive to the way he plays. And I mean, if he's up front with Adebayor, then they're really in trouble. I don't know how they're. I cannot believe he went to Tottenham. I just can't believe on any level of being that he went to the Tottenham, because
what happened to that Liverpool move that everybody was talking about?
Well, supposedly, and ESPN leaked it, and then Liverpool denied it. But Dempsey wanted a lot of money, like a lot of money. And I think, and Liverpool. Well, the owners of Liverpool finally said, we're not going to pay this much money anymore. I mean, his transfer was only £6 million, and I think Clint Dempsey saw that he wasn't going to get a lot of playing time. But I look at that and I just go, why would you go to Tottenham? Of all the clubs, he could have been a star probably pretty much anywhere in the Premier League, bar the top three, the Cavs and United, City, where he wouldn't he'd sit next to Nasri on the bench, anywhere but Tottenham. I mean, frankly, it still boggles my mind that he was like, I'll go play for a team that has no aspirations to win the league title. But that's it for me. I'm going to watch Clint Dempsey and make fun of him on Twitter. I don't tweet many footballers at all because I know that won't respond to me. So I just don't bother doing it. But I will give Clint Dempsey for the entire year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to jump on that bandwagon. I wrote an article on it, or I included it in an article. I lost the way Clint Dempsey left Fulham. I lost all respect for him. That's no way to handle yourself in a professional manner. I know others have done it before him. Others will do it after him. Unacceptable. And then to go to Spurs. God.
Yeah, strike two.
Yeah, I mean, you go over with the cat poachers. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is you're talking about a guy who's good. As far as Americans go, he's a top American.
But he thinks he's another version of Rooney or somebody like that quality.
Right, but as far as footballers go, you're mediocre, dude. Get over yourself. You're good, but you ain't that good.
Just squad guy.
Yeah, exactly. You're a squad guy. You're no Kurt Carzola, and you're never going to be. Get over yourself. And I for a different podcast, a different time, and Dempsey's behavior, I think, is just symptomatic of American footballers at the moment, and in a lot of respects. They're coddled and they're told they're better than they are.
Hey, maybe you'll go to the MLS as a DP, get his money.
As a DP?
Yeah.
What is that?
Not quite.
I don't even know what that is. So I
won't comment on it. What that means.
Go there like Beckham as a designated player. The person that gets to play outside of the salary cap. Why everybody else is indentured slavery.
While everyone else gets $30,000 a year, you get 30 million.
Billion, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No fair play there. But anyway, let's not get on MLS right quick.
Yeah, because it's not even a league. So let's keep it moving. Champions League yesterday. We've talked about it a little bit. I think Arsenal overall yesterday was quality. I think they lost the plot a bit in the second half. But that being said, I think we all agree that overall it was quality. We dug it out real quick. We didn't wait until our usual, last 15 minutes to get the winner. We dug that one out pretty fast. Diaby's horrible. And Man City and Madrid, can't say I'm sad to see Man City lose. Always makes me happy because I think there's too many egos on Man City for them to be long-term successful.
The way they lost too.
Yeah.
They're going to be another Chelsea. I think I said this last time. They're just another Chelsea. They've just got good players for the meantime. They're going to have a few seasons and they're going to fail and fall on their face.
I said the exact same thing. I believe that 100%. They're doing the same thing, too, that Chelsea did a few years ago. They go out and buy players because they're popular.
Yep.
and to prevent other teams from getting them, but they have no real clue as to how to merge these players into a team that's going to last, like a Wenger can do, like a Ferguson can do.
Yeah, just because you've got, like, you might have, the best players, in the Premier League, but it doesn't mean they're going to be able to play together. It doesn't make a team, does it? But yeah, you're right. Like, everyone slates Wenger, but he makes a team. And if it wasn't for people just buggering off for more money, like, the team would be so much better. But football's just corrupt. So,
Yeah.
And Man City and Chelsea just make it more corrupt.
Yep. And you're absolutely right there. I mean that. The amount of money that's being injected into the game right now,
obscene.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. The managers are not allowed to build a team. The boards of these clubs say, "Hey, we're buying X, Y, and Z. Make them fit because they're drawing attendance." That's not. I don't know. At least that's not the game I want to see long term. All this has to fall on its ear eventually.
Yeah, the real tragedy that makes me smile is what's going on in Liverpool, along those same lines. With Hodgson gone, with Dalglish being kicked out, nobody's being given time to make anything happen. It's like if you don't get results right now, then you're gone. And it's like, well, how can you operate under those circumstances?
That's exactly what happened with, obviously, sorry to say it again, that's happened with Spurs. There's, they should never have got rid of Redknapp. Never.
Yeah.
He would have been so good for them, and obviously, I shouldn't be saying it because, I'm an Arsenal fan and stuff, but he's good, and they didn't get through to Champions League it was sheer bad luck more than anything. So, but yeah, everyone's got such a short shelf life nowadays. They don't give anyone a chance. You're in, you're out, and it's not gonna not good. It's just gonna go down, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. Fu?
Well, let's face it. Champions League is where the money is, and that's why managers are kind of, I'm loath to say, forced to buy players that maybe they don't want to have or need to have. I mean, City buying Sterling that poor bastard's going to sit on the bench, just like Sean Wright Phillips sat on the bench for the Chavs 7 years ago. When he was playing really well for City, and the Chavs just bought him just because they could. They bought Steve Sidwell from Reading because he was scoring goals, and then he never played. But they just buy players. And we've talked about this before, specifically so other team managers can't have them. And with the hopes of being in the Champions League and securing that money and the extra tickets and that extra advertising and all that sort of money for turnover. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes ask Leeds United if it doesn't work out.
Yep. Ask Rangers.
And as far as you talk about Liverpool, and I've always said it, and I'll say it, and I'll beat the drum until it's probably broken and my arm's dead. But Bill Shankly and the Bob Paisley is a hard mantle to carry. That sort of history and that sort of run in the 70s and 80s, that no one will ever come close to that sort of. I mean, gosh, when Sir Alex retires, I feel sorry for the man that sits in that seat.
Yeah.
I don't care what his name is. I don't care who he is. I don't care if he was he could be the bloody king of Micronesia, for crying out loud. He's going to have a very, very hard time. Yep. He's going to have a very hard time to try and continue something that that cannot be done, can't really be mirrored, I suppose you could say.
Yep.
And that Brendan Rodgers won't last. I don't think he'll last next year.
Yeah, I think he's already in danger.
And that television show is a very good viewing, by the way. If you want to have a good laugh, I mean a right good laugh, and have a bowl and sit down and drink a cider to kind of cut through that. That is probably the best laugh you will ever have for an hour on television. That being Liverpool crap that they're showing. Oh my gosh. whoever decided, I want to know who has the pictures of Clive Owen with a farm animal, because how he got involved in that, I'd have been like, hell no, keep me away from that.
Oh, now it's got a CTV.
Oh my.
Yeah, over here we on Sky, Liverpool have their own channel and stuff. Like, I don't know what they play on it, but they apparently are that good that they've got a whole channel. I really should watch it. I guess that would be pretty funny to watch as well.
I mean, it is.
Moving along, kids. I just want to say this about Everton real quick. I think we're going to see the Geordies do nothing this year. How is that different from any other year? I don't know.
Where's Kurt when we need him?
Yeah. I also think the way Everton's playing at the moment, I think it's a good example for all of us, much in the spirit of Arsenal to some degree, of if you stick a bunch of guys together who maybe aren't the best in the world, but they're all solid and they all get on the field and they're all there for each other, amazing things can be accomplished. That's why it's a team, not a squad of, egos. That's why they call it a team. And I was sad to see Everton, as a neutral, I was sad to see Everton not pull that game off. Moving on to the interlull. Anyone find anything interesting or attractive about the interlull? Fu?
Yes, the United States has a long way to go before they will ever play with the big boys.
Oh yeah, well we know that.
And England has a fine group of young players that can play football, and that was really the two things that because I watched quite a bit, because thankfully Al Jazeera, their 90 and 30 is freaking awesome. I love that segment that they have.
Cool.
But England has a fine group of young footballers, and that can and will compete, I believe, in the future, and they have something to look forward to. Mostly, though, I'm really unhappy with the United States.
To piggyback on what Fu said, I think that, and Kurt wrote a really nice article about England and how different they appear to be playing than before, more unified, more as a team. And they do, to me, look promising. But, the USA, they look about the way I expect them to look with the talent they have to pull from. And I guess I'm more surprised by those who think that the USA should be doing better. But I don't see why. I mean, consider the state of the domestic league. The limited pool of players that they pull from, the USSF, they only pull a small percentage of the potential talent that's out there, and it's all down to the structure, the youth system. So we don't see the cream of the crop of what could be there. And when it comes to U.S. football, I'm more interested in what Hooligan's doing with FC Aztec. You see these kids coming up. They're not going to end up in the MLS because they don't have the money. They don't have the money to go to the youth program. So, teams in Latin America are going to poach them like they did with Junior Sandoval. They're going to come and get talent and put them on their squads because they're looking for kids who want to play the game, not kids who, this is their second sport and, the prestige of being in one of these elite youth clubs and moving on up. But I'm not surprised by the U.S. But they're possibly in the weakest region in FIFA. Probably, maybe a little bit better than the Pacific region, but they're going to qualify because there's no competition. So they're not going to, but that's about all I can expect from them. I don't see quality there. As much as the MLS folks on our other half of the podcast want to talk about it, I just don't see it. Man, I don't see it coming.
Well, before I go on a complete diatribe, Louise, what do you see?
Well, I don't follow international football at all. I think I've said to you before, I hate it. When I say hate, that's a bit strong. I'm just not a fan of the England team. I just think it's a bunch of egos, and that they're just not as good. So I honestly don't follow it. I did do the Euros. I did my predictions for the Euros to be a little bit patriotic, but it's not a team I follow. It's not a team I enjoy to follow because it's just not for me. Literally, I follow Arsenal.
Yeah, you're a club girl, like I'm a club guy. Yeah. The international scene is there because it's there, but it's like it's not until the club season starts up that I really get the passion going.
Yeah, exactly. I'm exactly the same as you.
Well, for me, since my whole life is footy, I do follow international, and I support the USA first. Unfortunately, right now, England is my second. I think with Hodgson coming on for England, I think he's going to scour the country. I think he's going to instill his patient brand of football into the Three Lions squad, and I think he's been in the game long enough to where when people start griping and bitching about, oh, they didn't do, X, Y, and Z, he will ignore all of it. He will put on who he thinks should be on and move forward from there. And I think come 2014, I think we're going to see a strong England team in Brazil. That said, on to the U.S. I posted, 2 articles, Trey?
Yeah.
On the subject.
2 good ones, yeah.
Yeah, thus far. The United States is a country of immigrants. Like it or not, I know we got a lot of political pot stirring right now, but the majority of our immigrants are coming from Eastern Europe and Mexico, Central Latin America, more or less. These are all footballing cultures. That's what they do. That is their sport. Yet these are the kids that, by and large, are looked over because they are in the immigrant communities. They don't have the money to go pay $1,800 a season to play at one of these top youth clubs that really, at the end of the day, ain't going to teach them much of anything anyway. It's going to coddle them and pat them on the back for losing. My kids that I train, I have a core of kids that last Saturday we lost 7-1, but for some of these kids, they show up for me even though they play on other club teams.
Well, tell them who you were playing. These kids were playing the older.
Well, right. But my point is that for some of these kids, it was their second or third full 90 of the day, and they ran. They played the full 90. Some of them I couldn't. I would try to sub them out, and they're like, no, coach, I'm good. And, a couple of those, I had to force them off the field. They're like, oh, come on. But, these are 13, 14, 15-year-old kids that were playing 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids and held them to 7-1. They were hard on themselves, but, I'm impressed. But these are the kids, both teams, that will never see the light of ODP. Ever. They won't see it. Well, some of them might if they're very lucky because I'm pushing hard for them to get there. But these are the kids that should be the future of soccer in the United States. And they're just not. They're overlooked. You get guys like, Clint Dempsey. He's good. Does he have the same potential as some of my kids? I don't think so. I think some of my kids have the ability, if I can get someone to poach them, to far surpass what Clint Dempsey has ever done. The problem is our youth system is so backwards here that I think Mexico has sorted their youth system out. Costa Rica is doing a pretty good job of it, as is Honduras and El Salvador. And I think we're going to see in the future that the United States is going to be third or fourth in line. We're not going to make the World Cup all the time because these other countries are going to sort themselves out. Mexico is producing players right and left. And I think it's about to get real ugly going forward for the United States. And everyone wants to blame Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah.
It's not Jurgen Klinsmann. He's trying to sort things out.
I got to tell you, that boggles my mind, Hooligan. How they're going after Klinsmann when you look at the history of what's going on in the States as far as football. But go ahead. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. Klinsmann's trying to sort out the youth system. That was kind of his selling point for him coming on board was, you got to leave me alone to fix your system. Your system is broken, and you got to leave me alone to fix it. And now he's meeting all sorts of resistance. And, nobody likes change, granted. But you got these, Sunil Gulati's name is not in anyone's mouth. He's a very quiet guy that sits at the top pulling strings. And his card needs to get pulled. He is the problem.
Amen.
We really need to see a guy like Marcelo Balboa or Eric Winalda.
Thank you.
Or, somebody that knows the U.S. system intimately, but also knows international football. That's who needs to be at the top of the federation, who will stand right next to Klinsmann and go, hey, he's doing okay. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing and fixing our system. We may not be great for the next 5 years, but we're going to reemerge like a phoenix from the ashes. So be patient. But you don't have anyone standing up for Klinsmann like that. And until we get that, until our league system is fixed, it's ridiculous that the reserves of our local team here in Atlanta, those reserve players, when a first-team player is hurt, can't just go up to the first team and play. They have to sign a different contract between the leagues and then go sit on the bench at the first team and wait for the federation to approve them. It's mind-boggling stupid, and I don't understand. I just don't understand. Until things like that are sorted out, I can easily take kids like mine and take them to an Atlanta youth, an Atlanta Silverbacks youth club and say, hey, you need to look at this kid. And they'll actually go, oh, okay, coach. Let's put him through his paces and see what he does. Until something like that is occurring on a regular basis in this country, we're doomed to mediocrity. And I would hope no one would expect more. The system's broken. Don't expect more. Be happy with what we actually have at this point, because I think the U.S. team, for what we have, is doing pretty damn good, all said and done. Anyway, anyone want to retort to that?
I gotta say I agree with most of what you say, and I from the grassroots level on up through the professional ranks in the MLS, I see a lot of problems that people are ignoring, or they're letting it slide because we're the United States, so therefore we can just do it like this. And when you can, think about, this is a country of 300 million plus.
Yeah.
And look at the sad state of the talent that we have at the top flight. Why is it like that? It's because of the system, not just the MLS, but like you say, when you look at the U.S. Federation and what the lack of control, the lack of vision, the lack of direction that they give this nation, and then couple that with ignoring what works everywhere else, with open leagues, independent clubs that can help the nation kind of develop this youth into something more special, rather than seeing these guys just go away or not develop. I think that's the core problem. So for those who think that the U.S. is supposed to be this world-beating nation, I ask why. Why do you think that? What have you seen in the history of this country to tell you that they should be doing better than they are? I think they're very lucky to be where they are.
Well, and here's another thing, Louise, just give us an example. You walk to Emirates on game day. How many vendors are out there selling scarves, hats, T-shirts, this, that, and the other that's licensed and non-licensed, making a buck off the club's name?
Oh, there's loads. There's absolutely, literally, and there's the people selling the tickets as well, which make a fortune. We don't know, but it's a lot. It's a hell of a lot.
Right, and that's what the U.S. is missing. These independent football clubs, everyone bitches about the economy. Well, they spur business. If I punch up eBay right now, there are probably 1,000 people selling this, that, and other bootleg Arsenal merchandise. Now, if I type up England, let's not forget the English national team has a contract not only with Umbro, which is Nike, but they also have a contract with Adidas. And I think one other that just stays in Europe most of the time. I can't think of the name of the company. But, there's 3 companies that the national team is making money to feed back in to these clubs to develop players. Here we have Nike. Nike dominates everything. How Adidas got the MLS kit contract is beyond me, but every club wears Adidas kits, which is kind of disgusting. We got to sort it out here in the States, or we'll be doomed to continue the way we have continued. We'll have very good years, and then we'll have 3 or 4 crap years. Fu, what do you think of all that?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I can't really expound on what you guys have said because it's all true. Not having an opportunity to be what you want, so to speak, is not what this country is supposed to be about. That's kind of a sad way to live. To be somebody who has a potential and yet you're not allowed or not able, I should say not able to fulfill that potential, has to be a mind-numbing ideal. And I know a lot of people don't think that way. I know Angry was a college footballer, but what if he was allowed to do something different? What if somebody had come along and said, "Hey, you don't really belong here. You belong someplace else. Playing football and doing what you love and enjoy." And that's kind of disheartening. In fact, it's really disheartening. And to think that there's some kids that go, man, and not to say anything bad about Tyler Ruthven, I think there's better things in his future for him.
Yeah.
But to think that, man, I made it to the MLS and I've got a pro contract and I'm playing with Henry and I'm playing against all these great players. I'm playing with Rafa Marquez and I'm playing against international footballers every week. But then to not be able to have such an iron-bound contract. Another thing is Brett Shea. Brett Shea is a prime example of, I think, the fact that people blow smoke up his ass. He's got talent, but if you're not world beating at Dallas or Houston or wherever you play, because I don't even know, I'm sorry, then, maybe you don't deserve to play someplace else. And that's just, I don't even get me started on Landon Donovan. But, I think, to think that, Angry could have played, and even if it's, second division football, for gosh sakes, or, something like that, just to have the opportunity for someone to say, hey, you can do something better than this. Here's the opportunity to do better than this. But it's so not there. It's so not there. I was just looking at I was looking through some old magazines that I have, and yes, they have words in them and not a lot of pictures. But there's a couple, I have a program from the Silverbacks from June of 2000.
Yeah.
And there were 1, 2, 3, there were 4 players on the Silverbacks that were not from the United States. Might have been 5, and very few of them probably played anywhere else. Heck, there was a guy here from St. Albans City in Wales for the Silverbacks.
Yeah.
And that's a long ways to travel to come play in the United States. But to try to think that there's, you can play somewhere else than, than your local football club.
Yeah, we don't have a system that's conducive to really producing footballers, that are world class. They can certainly play in the MLS, NASL, USL Pro, no problem. But the problem is, a lot of these kids, because of the club structure here, we prep them to go to college and play college ball rather than prep them to go play club ball, on a professional level. and that's why they struggle in the world. And if you notice, Klinsmann brings in the guys with international experience. You don't really like the MLS guys because he knows on an international stage they're gonna get beat every time. Every single time they're gonna get beat. Or if they don't get beat, they're gonna squeak it out. And
that's where that cultural thing keeps popping its head back up, because if you look at the structure of MLS, NASL, college, and everything leading up to it, it is a carbon copy of the way that gridiron throw ball is done, the way the NFL is done. They even have the MLS calls their draft not just the draft; it's called the super draft. For what reason, I don't know, but it's a carbon copy to a large degree the way NFL gets their talent. The other way is through combines, where these guys come in with a lottery basically to try to get on a team here that weren't drafted or signed. They get to go to this combine just like they do in the NFL. It's the divisional structure, the closed nature of the leagues. It's NFL because that's what these people know. It's just a tragedy that the fans here would benefit if they would just look at England, if they would look at even Scotland, that doesn't have they have promotion and relegation, but it's sort of closed off to a certain degree. But even if we had something like that, it would be better than what we have now, because it would scare up the talent that now is just going elsewhere or going missing.
Yeah, I mean, and I hate to say it, a guy like Junior Sandoval
wasted his early thing.
Well, but he may only end up a squad player. He's good. He has the potential, but does he have more potential than some other folks? Who's to say? We're unable to see him playing currently. But the point is, would he have gone back to Honduras if he was able to get on a Red Bulls, youth squad? Probably not. But we're not set up that way. I contacted a Red Bulls youth coach, and I said, hey, he's a youth coach outside of Philadelphia for a Red Bull squad. And I said, hey, I got some kids that need the poach down here. Drive down here. Come look at them. And he said, I can't. My hands are tied. The MLS will not allow me.
Yeah, there's your problem.
And I'm thinking to myself, why would you not want to come get the talent that's available to you? And I got a couple of kids that right now, if I was to put them in a top division ADASL, they would not only play well, they would improve upon how they're playing and probably get picked up by an NPSL or NASL team pretty rapidly. I mean, they're that good, and I'm not just saying that because they're my kids. They're that good. I mean, I need to coach them some more, but they really are that good.
Well, like you said, there are kids like that all over the country. They're not going anywhere here.
Yeah,
that's the problem. And if people want to ask me why I don't really get into the domestic league, these are the reasons.
Yeah, I mean,
not that I don't want to. It's just it just makes me sick,
Yeah,
and then to see it excused away on top of it by all these explanations about financial viability of the league and what the owners are owed and all this other stuff. It makes me want to puke, really.
Yeah, me too. Well, guys, let's wrap it up there.
But I digress.
Before we really get on more of a rant than we've already been on here, let's wrap it up. And Arsenal has City this Sunday, so
yeah, I'll be doing my predictions soon. I think I'll do them later on tonight. So
yeah, post them
cool.
for us, please.
Wicked. Yeah, I'll let you know. It'll be in the next few hours. So cool.
And absolutely.
Thanks again, Fu, Louise, Hooligan. Thanks for all your input.
Absolutely. Cool. All right, y'all.
All right,
Laters.